What's going on, everyone? Welcome to BoxCon Global Community Spotlight. I am your host, Hobbit. Welcome back to any returning viewers, and of course, welcome to anyone new in the chat. For anyone who has not seen a community spotlight before, these are here to talk to members of our beautiful beatbox community about their journey into beatboxing and then their involvement in their community and wherever they may be from in the world. And today, I am joined by a lovely gentleman all the way from Israel, representing the Israeli Beatbox Community. Please make some noise for Dabushcka! And Ophir. How you doing, guys?
Doing great, doing great. How are you?
We're doing fine.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm good. So, just to let everyone know, Ophir, am I pronouncing your name right? Please tell me if I'm
Yeah, that's right. That's my name.
Perfect. Look at that. 10 points to me. Ophir is here just for translation purposes in case I talk too fast, which I probably will. Yeah, to kick off this chat, I'd like to ask you, Dabushcka, how did you discover beatboxing and when did you start and what brings you here now?
Okay. So this is kind of fun fact of me. I was watch TV with my family at home, and I saw a commercial of עופר, תגיד לו מאכל, זה לא עונה. Can't hear you, עופר.
You can't hear me? Oh, sorry. I clicked on mute accidentally.
תגיד לו שזה היה פרסומת של מאכל, וזהו, אני אמשיך.
Oh, I think you know what you're talking about. אני חושב שאני יודע אם אתה מדבר על Vocal People.
כן, כן.
Okay, so there was an advertisement back then in like 2012, 2013 about I think Yoplait, which is a yogurt in Israel, and a group called Vocal People, which are a big group. I can say that they are very known in Israel. They're very known all around the world. He saw that that advertisement in the first place, and that got him very interested into beatboxing and that world.
Yeah, so I saw the commercial on the TV, and I tried to understand how the two guys of there doing the drum noises and all the other sounds, and it got me very interesting to know how to do it. And then I go to YouTube and I wrote white people because I didn't know then how to call them, so I just wrote on the keyboard white people do drum sounds, and then I found the beatbox, and I started to listen to beatbox lessons of a very famous beatboxer right now, like Darnie, like Tom Tom, like a lot of people, and then I understand that I fall in love in a new genre in my life called beatbox, and and that's it, kind of.
Nice. How long have you been beatboxing now?
I think 9 years.
Wow, nice,
Same
amazing.
Yeah.
amount of mine.
Yeah, sick. And for anyone who doesn't know, so the vocal people, the reason Dabushcka search on YouTube white people beatbox because the vocal people, they're like an a cappella group and they dress all in white in their faces, like they're like
They have like great makeup all over their face, and it's very cool. It's very cool.
yeah, we actually had Oradreth on from Spain the other week, and he was in the vocal people for a few years. So he was in the one of the groups that toured around the world.
What is the name?
Oradreth. He's
I think
from he's from Catalonia. Yeah. He's
I know another person from the Beatbox community who was in the Vocal People, but I don't know if I should say his name because I don't know if it's relevant or not.
Yeah, it's true. Some people don't want to be known. There's a few guys that have been. There was Rhythmic, sorry, from Portugal.
Rhythmic,
He was
yeah.
also in. Yeah, he was also in. So yeah, it's an interesting way to discover it just from seeing the TV advert on the TV. A nice introduction in, and then so after you started beatboxing and you got involved into this world, did you start getting involved in battles? Did you start performing?
So not exactly. Um, uh, back then. Um, shit,
You can talk in
אופיר.
Hebrew if you want to. You can
כן,
talk in
כן,
Hebrew. It's
קיצר.
alright.
אוקיי, אני אדבר בעברית. I'll talk in Hebrew and my guy
Perfect.
will translate. באותה תקופה כשלמדתי ביטבוקס לא הייתה קהילה בישראל בכלל, ורציתי להופיע ורציתי להציג את היכולות שלי ולא היה לי למי, כי באותה תקופה במדינה שלי לא היה מי שיבין את הדבר הזה ואנשים לא קיבלו את זה. לכן החלטתי באותו רגע לחפש עוד ועוד אנשים, בין אם זה ביוטיוב, בין אם זה בפייסבוק, בכל הרשתות החברתיות, ולמצוא עוד אנשים כמוני, כי אני ידעתי שאני לא הבן אדם היחידי בישראל שעושה את זה, וככה התחלנו להתפתח מאותה נקודה. רק מאותה נקודה התחלתי גם להופיע.
That's very long, but I'm gonna translate as much as I can.
Sorry.
So basically, it's alright. It's alright. So basically, what he says is, by that time there wasn't any Israeli beatbox community by that time, and the only way to make it through to find other people that beatbox, because he knew personally that by that time he's not alone in the country. He's not alone in that country. There must be other beatboxers. There must be other people who try to make music out of their mouths. So by that time, he tried to make contact to other people and try and reach for random people that do beatboxing that are known. And basically, I think the one point that he hit was the founding the Israel Beatbox Community when he founded it.
Nice. So you founded the Israeli Beatbox Community in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you started it, how did you approach this? Did you go online and say, "Yo, any beatboxers from Israel, come and join the Israeli Beatbox Community"? Did you send letters out in the post? Did you put posters up? What was the process?
Yeah. I watch. I was searching on YouTube videos of beatboxer just to find. I wrote in tags Israel beatbox or Israeli beatboxer or Israel beatboxers and on and etc. etc. And then when I saw I can't found them, I wrote the keyboard my phone number, and I tell everybody who knows beatboxer 2, 3, 4 of them to call me. And then I open a WhatsApp group, and I want to show you the date that I started it.
That group is like, I'm in that group, and this group is like mythological because it's quite long. We are based off on that group, on that WhatsApp group, and it's
But
WhatsApp, yeah, and it's just like it's since I don't know. Show me that number. Show us that number, Dabush.
right now,
Yeah, show us the number.
of all the participants,
No, show us the number, the date, the date
Oh.
you made that group.
I want to
If
I
you
want to
can
believe
see
it.
it,
Can you see it?
barely, barely, just
2013.
barely.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the date exactly. The 19th March.
Yeah, 13.
Wow.
But before the WhatsApp group, I made meetups in Tel Aviv in 2012 to the tiny group of beatboxers who came. I think we were there maybe 4 beatboxers, and then we grew up, and then in 2013 I make the WhatsApp group, and then when you find one beatboxer, he knows one or two beatboxers, and he knows four or five, yeah, etc. And
We
we
gather up.
yeah, we gather up.
Gather up, yeah, you team
Yeah.
up like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many beatboxers are in the group now?
Right now, I will
Can
tell
definitely
you.
see that there's some of them that are like I can consider AFK, like they're not much beatboxing, and there's much more active users right now in there. But
Yeah,
we have around
but
about 100 and
altogether,
something.
109.
Woo! Amazing.
And
Yeah. Thank you.
we currently have two groups actually. I don't know how much we have differently from the other group, but I can definitely say that we have around like 150 people that we know in the Israeli Beatbox community.
Amazing. And so I guess that's been over like 7 years since the group was set up, nearly 8 years now. How have you like followed up the engagement with speaking to the community? Did you arrange like more jams, more meetups? Did you arrange events?
תרגום אופיר?
אוקיי. אז תנסה להסביר, אני לפחות אנסה לתרגם אותך, תנסה להסביר אפילו האם אתה, איך הצלחת לארגן עם מפגשים, ג'מים, כל הדברים שיכולת לארגן, למשל בתל אביב, כמו שהיה ימים שהיינו בכניסה לעזריאלי.
ברגע שהתחלתי למצוא, אחרי תקופת זמן מאוד ארוכה, אחרי שהתחלתי למצוא מספר יחסי של ביטבוקסרים באזור ה10-20 חבר'ה, פשוט אמרתי להם, חבר'ה, בתל אביב, בקניון או ברחוב או במרכז כלשהו, בשעה כזאת וכזאת, במקום כזה וכזה, ביום כזה וכזה תאריך, ופשוט תגיעו, ולאט לאט התחילו להגיע, ולאט לאט התחילו עוד להגיע ועוד להגיע, וככה התחלנו גם, מצאנו עוד דרך להגדיל את הקהילה, וכמובן שלאחר כל המפגשים שעשינו, התחלתי להפיק תחרויות בכל מיני ערים בארץ שלנו, וזהו, זה לשאלה שלו, בינתיים.
Okay, so I'm going to translate it. Basically that time, there was only one way to make it like approved, so people will actually make it to those meetups and the engagements like you examine. The only way it was making a point, it was saying, for example, okay, so there's this time and this time and this date in Tel Aviv, come over. We wouldn't like confirm, it wouldn't confirm anyone coming, it just made that state. There is a meetup. It's happening. Come over. And that was the best, I personally think that's a good way, that back in that time. And that's started to build up by the time and time. I think by 2000, איזה שנה התחלת את התחרות הראשונה?
התחרות הקטנה או הרשמית?
הקטנה, הראשונה.
הקטנה ב-2015.
So that was the first competition that he made was in 2015. That was the first, it was a small one because you can't consider it the official one. He says it. I think everything he did was official, but what he says is that he started by 2015 making competitions. That was the first championship, the small championship that he started. That was the start of the evolution of the Israeli Beatbox community.
Nice, great. And then, so 2015 was the first, I guess, unofficial Israeli beatbox competition. And then so it was 2016, I guess, the first official one then?
מה הוא שואל?
בשנת 2016 היה הראשונה האופישיאל.
ב-2017, כן.
2017.
2017, okay.
Okay.
And what kind of event was that? Did you organize that yourself?
תגיד לו ברמת העיקרון כן, היה איתי עוד שותף קטנטן, שמצאתי שיעזור לי לארגן. כן, אפשר להגיד, אגי.
So there was, okay.
וארגנו את זה בתוך אולם, זה היה הפעם ראשונה בעצם שאני מפיק דבר כזה באולם מקצועי, עם תאורה, עם הגברה, כמו שצריך, ועם שולחן שופטים, ממש אירוע רשמי.
בתדר באותה תקופה, נכון?
כן, בתדר, כן.
Mhm.
וזהו, אתה יכול לתרגם לו.
Okay, so by that time it was, I think, 2017. It was the first time he gathered up with another big beatboxer in Israel. Can consider big because he's quite big. He's quite I can say mature beatboxer. His name is Agi, and he's known in the Canadian beatbox community, I think. Because they moved out from Israel to Canada for studies and stuff.
Okay.
He was first organizing it with Agi, as I said. That was the first time that he actually organized it in a closed-up place with lights, with high quality speakers and everything that deserves for actual beatboxing and everything.
Nice. And who did you have as the jury? Who was judging that championships in 2017?
שפטו את זה, אתה זוכר כמה יש שם? 3 או 4? זה היה כל כך, זה היה
אני זוכר שזה היה אייזף היה שם?
יכול להיות, אני זוכר
אייזף היה שם.
הוביט היה שם.
הוביט היה שם.
היה שם.
ג'קי.
נכון.
והיה עוד מישהו, אני לא זוכר פשוט מה השם שלו.
אגי שפט.
אגי?
כן, אגי שפט.
So there was 4 judges by that time.
Okay.
But they won their names.
Yeah.
So there was one big famous one I can consider in Israel. There was like 2 big. I can say all the judges are quite famous. I consider all of them big. There wasn't one of them. His name today is Asafi, but we used to call him Azef.
Yep.
Stage name.
Very, very, very great beatboxer. There was Agi himself, not only the organizer but a judge as well. Another judge was Jackie Gafarov. He is, I can say, at least one of the beatboxers that could have made it to JBB, but he didn't want to. I don't know why. He could have made it, I believe. It was a big hit in Israel. I don't know what happened since then. And then there was who did you say the last one was, Dabush?
הוביט.
Hobbit. One of the mythological beatboxers too in Israel. He's very talented. He's all about the music, rhythm, and musicality.
Sick. I like his name. It sounds like mine.
Hobbit.
Yeah.
Hobbit.
Sick.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second, guys. Okay?
Yep.
He goes away.
He's gone.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can
So,
have a break.
Yeah. He tell when he will come back?
No.
I'm actually back already.
Where's my $1 million?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay,
All right.
I'm back.
Nice. Cool. So you had the kind of first official Israeli Beatbox Champs in 2017, and then have you had one since? Did you have 2018 and 2019 as well?
אליפות של 2000 ו...
האליפות של 2018 הייתה, אם אני לא טועה, באותו זמן אבב כבר, נכון?
אבל לא, אבב בעצם גם.
17 ו-19.
כן, זה. 17 ו-19, לא, ב-2018 אני לא חושב שהייתה תחרות.
בדיוק, אוקיי, so there was...
רגע, שנייה, הייתה איזושהי תחרות קטנה שעשו...
בדיסקורד, לא?
יכול להיות שבדיסקורד, אני אישית כבר לא הייתי שם, כי זה כבר היה חבר'ה שמי שעשה את התחרות בדיסקורד כבר, בוא נגיד זה, מתוך הקהילה שכבר התחילו להתפתח, היה, זהו, תחרות פיזית ב-2018 לא היה, ב-2019 כן היה, על ידי ביטבוקסר אחר שהיה שייך לחבר'ה שעושים כל מיני פסטיבלים, וב-2020, שזה עכשיו, הולך להיות תחרות, וזה יהיה משודר בערוץ של הביטבוקס קומיוניטי, ביוטיוב, בלייב, הולך להיות מאוד מעניין.
Okay, so I'm gonna translate everything as much as I can. But I think I made it to it.
Sorry again.
It's alright. So in 2018, there wasn't. No. Wait, Vav happened in 2018, right?
Yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah.
So in 2018, there was a side competition by Ashdod. Do you know Ashdod, probably? The city Ashdod? So by Ashdod, there was a competition called Vav. It wasn't a competition, but it was
it was a hip hop
group up.
Yeah.
It was a hip hop thing. And they considered beatboxing as well. So what they did is they invited beatboxers from our community as well. It wasn't organized by Dabush, but it was an official one. I can consider it. We can consider it. It was VAV Championships, and we did.
הזכרתי. ב-2014 אני עשיתי תחרות בפסטיבל היפ-הופ שהיה במודיעין.
אוקיי.
ב-2014 וב-15 וגם ב-16 מה לא טועה. כן, עכשיו נזכרתי.
We made up a memory a long time memory ago that I just remembered too. In my city, in his city, we live nearby. We live in Modi'in in Israel. He made the first competition in 2014. 14, yeah. And it was in Modi'in. That's the funny part. Even 14, 15, and 16.
Yeah.
In here.
3 in a row.
I think we can find the video in the old groups. I think if we search for it enough, we can find that video.
I think I have those videos.
We'll search it. We'll search them up. We can bring them up if you want to afterwards, Hobbit.
Yeah. Send them over.
And by that time, yeah, I remember that competition. We did a competition in here. It was a very, very small competition because there wasn't much competitors. By that time, yeah, we already had a competition actually. Yeah. We was in the middle of something. There wasn't a 2017 competition, but there was 2018 by Ashdod. They called it Vav.
Okay.
It was a hip-hop group up, and they did all of them: paintings, graffiti, breakdance, and rap, and there was beatboxing too.
Nice.
They did it in 2018 and 2019 too. Yeah. Sadly, in 2020, we didn't do anything because of COVID. We couldn't do anything. And the organizer
Actually we did.
Yeah, I was about to say
we
couldn't do anything physical because COVID, and it's very strict in Israel about the rules and everything. The art in Israel is very hard to show up. We can talk about it later on. But we actually do have a championship this year. It's going to happen soon enough. When is it happening? This week it's meant to happen, right? Next week.
Next week on
we
Thursday.
have an official championship in Discord and
Nice.
Beatbox Community Discord.
Oh, perfect.
The one that is being led by Decoy.
Yeah. I just spoke with Decoy yesterday. So
he's a very nice guy. I love him.
Yeah,
one of my best friends in the Beatbox community.
Yeah, man. Wicked. So you're finding a way to adapt online. So you have the official championships all on Discord? Yeah, nice. And what are your plans with with the future? Because obviously no one knows what's going to happen. Are you planning to do more kind of meetups online for the Israeli Beatbox community?
הוא שואל, מה התוכניות העתידיות שלך לקהילה של הביטבוקס הישראלי? האם אתה מתכנן עוד פגישות, עוד צ'מפיונשיפס יותר פיזיים למשל, אולי בהמשך שיגמר הקורונה? מה בתוך הקורונה אפשר גם לעשות תוך כדי? אני גם אספר לו על הווירטואל ריאליטי שדיברנו עליו.
סבבה, יכול להיות נחמד. כן, ברמת העיקרון אני כן מתכנן לעתיד פגישות ותחרויות פיזיות ומושקעות הרבה יותר ממה שהיה בעבר. בנוסף, תגיד לו אני לא יודע אם תצליח, אבל קצת לפני הסגר השני עשינו את התחרות של הרחוב בירושלים.
נכון.
אז צריך להגיד את זה. נזכיר את זה. וזהו כרגע, תן תרגום.
Okay, so he does plan on working along, making more of the community, evolving even more, because as I can say, we've evolved from 2018 to now much more. We did have a little championship. It wasn't official. We did have a little championship before this second quarantine, which was street battles in
And
Jerusalem.
I have the sign.
Jerusalem, you
By
have
the
the
way,
sign of,
I don't
wait,
know
oh,
if you
no, no,
can
no,
see
no,
it.
wait,
Oh my god. Sorry.
we can't see because of the backgrounds, but
Sorry.
we had a street battles, and that was the first time that actually, like, it wasn't outside of official ways. We had another, just like Vav, for example, but it was something about Jerusalem. Jerusalem have been doing gather ups with breakdance people and rappers as well. So we joined them up as beatboxers, and we actually got it very nicely. There was enough time for everything. The whole championship was very nice. I can say that doing it outside is not as much as good as doing it inside of a place, because soundproof and everything. But it was very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
One of our competitors, Max, was first place, and
Nice.
yeah, it was our championship that day. And we do plan on continuing doing more stuff. We had a plan recently about, do you know virtual reality, that game that you have on Steam?
Yeah, yeah.
We plan,
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
the quarantine and everything, we want to do meetups in virtual reality, which is very funny and very
Sick.
fun, like very nice.
Mm.
I think it could like break a little bit that distance that we have right now, because in Israel, in the Israel Beatbox community, we love to meet up. We love that meetups. We do whatever we can to make those meetups, and so I think that the virtual reality can break a little bit that dry off time that we had.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think that's a really nice way to adapt as well, because even though you're not physically together, because it's virtual reality, you feel like you can feel like you are together at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, super cool. So Wicked, one thing I wanted to talk about, which is something you just mentioned, I feel, which is about it's hard to express arts and music in Israel. Can you talk more about that?
תן תרגום.
הוא שואל בנוגע אוקיי, זה מה ששאלתי מקודם, בנוגע בישראל פחות כאילו יענו מעריכים את האומנות של ההיפ-הופ והכל, זה קצת יותר קשה לשרוד פה. אתה רוצה שנדבר על זה?
אפשר טיפה להיכנס לזה, תגיד לו שהנושא הזה עדיין סוג של קשה לנו. המוח של הקהל הישראלי הוא מאוד מאוד קשה לפיצוח, מאוד מאוד קשה. צריך להיות פה לצערנו יחיד סגולה, לא יודע איך תתרגם לו את זה, אבל אתה צריך להיות בן אדם שהוא כאילו מולטי, כנראה גם שחקן, גם רקדן, גם פה, גם שם, גם פה, גם שם, כדי להצליח, 5 תחומים, כדי להצליח באחד שאתה באמת רוצה. ובגלל הדבר הזה מאוד מאוד קשה לנו להתפתח ולהעלות את המודעות של הביטבוקס במדיה התקשורתית, גם במדיה החברתית אנחנו עדיין מתקשים, אבל לאט לאט אנחנו עוד נגיע לשם.
Okay. So what he's saying is, I mentioned it before that it's a little bit hard in Israel. So in Israel, there's a thing that it's not easy to get into the Israeli person mind, because the type of music we listen to, the type of dancing, everything is very different from the outsider world. It took time to make TikTok into Israel or Instagram and stuff like that. So I think beatboxing will take a little bit of time to gather up in Israel itself. One of the things that is hard for us to get into is beatboxing, is because you need to be an only one type. It means that you're good in like 5 other things, and people know about those 5 other things that are very famous. So very, like, you have to be a popular persona in Israel to make the thing that you love to do famous with you. There's like 2 beatboxers in Israel that are very known. I'm not going to mention their names because privacy and everything. But they're very famous for their beatboxing as well. But they are, for example, models. They don't use their stage names anymore. They use their proper
Oh,
names. And basically, they don't do beatboxing as much as you imagine. I mean, yes, they used to do beatboxing, and maybe they put it on the side, or they doing beatboxing excessively a lot, and that what made them famous. But not only for that. For example, I can mention Neta Brazilai was in the
Eurovision.
Eurovision. In the
Yeah.
Eurovision,
Mm.
she was very known. She is a type of beatboxer. She does looping. She does looping, which
Oh, really?
she's
Yeah.
amazing. She's amazing. There's a song called "I'm Not Your Toy," which is played
Okay.
in TikTok, for example, and I've heard some British people play it and some American as well. And it's funny because this song was a win in Eurovision. Was the championship in our Eurovision. That was very funny to hear it all around the world, and that's the way. Like for example, you make your name big in Israel. You need to be very good, and you need to go to a very talented show. Usually you need to win in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I see. And I guess it's a way to cross over to the more traditional side of things that is more, I guess, kind of mainstream, and then finding a way in that you can get beatboxing or whatever it is that you want to do into that side of things. I think that's really interesting. It's going to be interesting for a lot of listeners because, especially, from countries like the UK or from like France, USA, it's like it's very common and very easy to break into these markets, and you can easily get shows, and it's not easily, but there's it's not so difficult, should I say. But it's very interesting to hear the kind of different point of view and the different way things work.
תרגום?
Yeah.
תרגום, אוקיי. הוא אומר, זה נחמד מאוד לדעת איך עובד לפחות ההיגיון הישראלי, או לפחות היום-יום הישראלי יחסית, בגלל שבמדינות אחרות, כמו למשל ב-UK, כאילו בבריטניה,
אוקיי.
יותר קל לפרוץ החוצה עם הדברים האלה, זה יותר מרקטינג נגיד ככה. אנשים חיים על הדברים האלה, אנשים כאילו מכירים בדברים האלה בצורה יותר קלה, יותר קל להיכנס. זה יכול להיות פריצה דרך יותר קלה בעצם. יכול לפרוץ בדרך יותר בקלות, מאשר פה בישראל למשל, שבישראל יש לנו קצת קושי עם זה, וצריך לעבוד קשה טיפה יותר ממה שעושים במדינות אחרות.
נכון. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question I want to ask, has any beatboxers from Israel ever competed in any international beatbox events?
כן, יש לנו את דמלו ואליאן ששלחו את הווילד קארד שלהם ל-GBB 2020, ויש לנו את מקס שהתחרה, וכל התחרויות שעכשיו בדיסקורד האלקטרוני. בתחרויות הפיזיות לצערנו עוד לא הייתה לנו את האופציה. עוד לא היו, עוד לא, בוא נגיד, עוד לא היה לה
הזדמנויות.
כן, עוד לא היו הזדמנויות לחבר'ה שלנו בארץ להגיע לתחרויות בחול ולהתחרות באמת כמו שהם תמיד רוצים וחולמים. בינתיים כרגע מה שיש לנו זה רק את הווילד קארד ואת התחרויות האלקטרוניות.
Okay, so we do have two competitors from Israel. One of them has won like 2 times in a championship in Vav, I'm sure. Yeah, in Vav, which is Dimelor. Have you heard about him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was competing with Alien BGEG, one of the competitors in Israel too. They made a wild card for GBB for the 2020 tag teams. ELR, that's their name, ELR, and that wild card hit up really good. There's also Max, which is heating up very good right now in the Discords championships. He's going very good. He's like growing up very fast with his beatboxing. He's evolving very good, very fast. He's adapted to the global beatboxing basically. But other than that, there's no much beatboxes, and I mean, there's no physical competitors that have actually made it to physical championships outside of Israel because of COVID, and we're just starting to evolve, like actually evolve and make it through. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Israeli beatbox community take over in 2021. And finally, my last question is, what are your big plans for the Israeli beatbox community and for the Israeli beatbox champs? Where do you want to see the future of it?
אז ככה, עופר תתכונן, זה הולך להיות ארוך.
He said it's gonna be very very long, so get ready.
אז ככה, אני רואה את הקהילה, קהילת הביטבוקס הישראלית, מגיעה לשלבים שבהם, בוא נגיד, נשלח ביטבוקסרים להופיע בטלוויזיה, נראה ביטבוקסרים מופיעים בסרטים, בסדרות, נראה אותם בפרסומות, נראה אותם בשלטים, נראה אותם מצליחים בכל ישראל מופיעים ועושים את מה שאוהבים ובאמת חולקים את התשוקה שלהם עם שאר הקהל הישראלי. לגבי תחרויות, העתיד שאני צופה, אמנם לא לשנים הקרובות בגלל הקורונה, אבל לשנים הבאות אני צופה לעשות תחרות כמו שהייתה, תחרות גדולה ואמיתית עם שופטים
כמו בתדר,
מחו"ל.
בתקופות התדר?
יותר גדול, כי עכשיו גם יש לזה קצת יותר קהל, טיפה, ממש טיפה, אבל יש יותר קהל. אפשר להגיד אפילו שיש קהל. והיעד של כל התחרויות שאני רואה בעיניים שלי, שבסופו של יום זה יהיה בסדר גודל כמו של ה-GBB. בהצלחה.
עוד משהו?
Good luck.
So first of all, yeah. First of all, he says the first plans he has for the beatbox community, the Israeli one at least, is that he's gonna make it over to whatever he can to make it over to the TV, movies, theaters, everywhere you can. Basically, make beatboxing just like being famous from beatboxing. Being not just being a normal persona, being a known persona. Make it through, like break that wall that we have right now in Israel.
אחר כך אני אוסיף עוד משהו.
About championships, he doesn't see anything, like Dabush says he doesn't see anything coming through right now because of Corona. We do have big plans on upcoming championships once the Corona is over. I promise you that. Because once Corona is over, we're basically gonna take over whatever we can. We're gonna make beatboxing great again. We're gonna make it great again in Israel. Apart from that, he says he wants to make the beatboxing in Israel in typical forms that it will look just like GBB. It wants it to be as big as GBB. It wants it to be as far as good. The microphones, the quality of sound, the amount of people that are going to be in. Because I can tell you from my perspective that we are evolving slightly because there are more crowd right now. And there is people that are watching. There is people that is giving up a voice in the saying. And we are seeing some evolution. But currently, Corona stops us. So we try to do whatever can normalize it. To be as good as it is.
אז אני רוצה להוסיף בנוסף.
He wants to add something else to what he wants to say.
Sure.
המטרה שלי כאדם שכל כך מחובר ואוהב את הביטבוקס בכל הלב שלו, בכל תחומי החיים שלו, המטרה שלי שיום יבוא ושכל ביטבוקסר וביטבוקסר יוכל לשתף את האהבה שלו עם ביטבוקס בפני קהל שיואב אותו, שידע מה זה הביטבוקס בעצם, שיקבל אותו ושלא ידחה אותו, לא משנה איפה הוא נמצא, בין אם זה בישראל ובין אם זה גם מחוץ לישראל.
That's beautiful. He says, I wish for every single Israeli beatboxer to find his crowd, and to find the people that love him. Basically, he will have his crowd. He will have his people that love him and follow him and everything. Basically, even if it's in Israel, even if it's outside of Israel, in America, in the UK, everywhere around the world, just make it that every single beatboxer, he wishes for them to be the famous person they want to be, the known person they want to be, to make people love their music. That's the point. That's the starting point of everything.
Amazing. What a beautiful way to end this discussion. Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
words, man.
Thank you
And
very much.
sounds like you're very passionate about obviously beatboxing, but most importantly about the scene in Israel and really making that grow and helping it flourish even more. So, yeah,
Yeah.
wicked, man. Thank you for chatting. But before we finish, I think it's about time we hear some skills from the man himself. So, without further
Yo,
ado,
yo, yo.
it is time. Dabushcka, are you ready?
Kind of.
Perfect.
I'm not a pro. I'm not a pro beatboxer.
It's
Just
fine. We just want to hear your stuff,
Dabush
man.
is a
And
kind of the old school stuff. He loves the old school and he sees it
perfect.
as
So
the
do I.
perfection as he can.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. I'm with you. Don't worry.
Go.
Go.
Go. Yeah.
Woo!
That was crazy. That
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
That's the type of
yeah.
stuff. I tell you, I sit with him almost every night, and that's the type of stuff I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, sick. Great to hear, man. Everyone in the chat make some noise for Dabushcka. Yeah.
Offer, wanna show you beatbox? Offer.
My beatbox.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
go.
Okay.
Come on, Alpha.
New school.
Oh my god. Drop it.
Woo, woo, woo.
We love that. We love that in Israel. We just love to do that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
That's
By
really
the way,
old
great.
school, and that's the
uh,
beautiful stuff we can do.
Yeah.
by the way, I have a last question. Ash,
Ash. Congrats. You're sick. Oh, well, big up, man. Thank you so
thank you
much
very
for
much.
this chat.
Thank
Really
you,
nice
thank
to
you,
talk to
Thank you,
you.
Hobbit.
thank you for
We've,
the opportunity to do this interview
no,
with
of
you.
course.
We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's a time that we have actual place around the world because we didn't have a lot of voice around the world before. It's
Mm,
time we actually make that wafer.
Yeah,
exactly. And finally, please can you tell people where they can find yourselves, the Israeli Beatbox community online? Where do you have Facebook, Instagram?
yeah. We have an Instagram page and we had Facebook page and also a YouTube page with
Nice.
kind of new stuff for us.
We have like
Just search.
we have around like 6 YouTube channels, but there's a very new one that you can actually see the Israeli symbol on it, the
Cool.
Israel flag symbol, and
Just
that's the
need,
origin. That's the new
yeah,
one. That's the new one. The other ones are very old. They're out of use, or we forgot our passwords actually. We're focusing, yeah, because the old stuff that there was less management than now because there's more
Hmm.
people managing right now the Israel Beatbox community, and not only Dabushcka. Like there's more help. There's more people to work together with.
Mm.
yeah. So for everyone who want to see our beatboxers in our community, you just wrote Beatbox Israel, and that's it. You'll find us.
Simple,
Yeah,
nice and easy.
yeah.
Beatbox Israel. Make sure you
Mm-hmm.
get online, get following, and go support everyone. But once again, thank you so much to my guests today, Dabushka and Ophir. Boop, 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 boop,
Thank
boop.
you,
Big
thank
up to
you.
you, Hobbit. Big up to you.
Thanks for your time. All right, this is BoxCon
Yeah.
Global Community Spotlight. My name's been Hobbit. Signing out. Peace.
Peace.